We're going to learn how to make a serverless app that runs on the Fastly compute platform at the network edge. That means it runs between your website host and your users, so it can change the request and response to enhance your user experience. In this video, we're going to use a guided flow inside GitHub codespaces. So you will need a GitHub account, but it will let you try the compute app out without downloading or installing anything onto your computer, and even before you've signed up for Fastly. To get your copy of the project, visit learn-compute.edgecompute.app and click the button to get your own app. That will take you to the GitHub repo for the project. So go ahead and make your own fork of the repo in your GitHub account. And I recommend leaving the repository name as it is, because otherwise you'll have to edit your compute code before it can run. Get your fork set up, and once you have that, open it in a codespace. Now this might take a couple of minutes to start up, especially the first time you do it. If you revisit this project again later, hopefully it'll be a bit quicker. At this point, a few things are happening. A container is being spun up to run the codespace in. It's going to add some dependencies and some extensions. It's going to attempt to run some commands automatically, like building our origin website and our initial compute app. And it's going to open both of them in previews inside the codespace so that we can see what we're working on. And we're going to have a few buttons along the bottom of the VS Code editor to make life a bit easier. So once the preview is open, you can use the split button at the bottom to separate it from the code files. And once everything's set up, hopefully you have two ports running. One is for the demo origin website, and one is for the compute app. And you can toggle between views of them in the ports area. So let's take a look at these apps. The origin website is pretty basic, but it has a couple of links in it. It has one link that goes to a page that doesn't exist, and that just returns a kind of rough looking 404 error. The other one is to some JSON data, and that just comes back in its raw form. So our compute app is going to improve both of these, and it's also going to change the style and content of the site at the edge. So let's see what it does, first of all with the page that doesn't exist. So it just gives us a better looking error page. Let's go back and try the JSON one. Well, it turns the JSON data into a page. So those changes are happening in the compute app. Let's take a look at the code that's doing that. It's inside the source index.js script. And you'll find lots of comments and information in there. We have sections for handling the request and response, for getting the geolocation information about the request, for switching out the style sheet at the edge. That's why the two versions of the site look different. And we have functions for building synthetic responses, and that includes the 404 and the JSON requests that we saw. And we add a cookie with the geolocation information that our origin site is writing into the page. Because this project is designed for learning, the code for the origin website is actually inside the same repo. It's in the origin folder. So you'll find the HTML and other files in there, and you can change those as well if you like. Let's get stuck in and make a change to the compute code. Our README file has all of the steps that we go through in this video and some extra information. If we scroll down, we're going to find a suggested edit. And that is some code that we can try just by copying and pasting it. And we're using JavaScript for this project, but Compute supports a range of other languages as well. So we'll grab this code, we're going to jump back into index.js and find the comment that shows us where to add it and paste it in. And I'm going to prettify mine using the button. And at this point, the app will automatically rebuild and serve. So hopefully we'll see the preview update. If you hit any issues with the auto running of the commands, you'll find the available scripts in the package JSON, so you can try running them manually in the terminal. This is looking okay, it seems to have updated. We can see that the greeting at the top of the page has changed because the cookie changed. And while you work on your app in the codespace, you can share a preview of it with collaborators. You can do that by making the port public and sharing its address. They just need to be logged into GitHub in order to see it. And we have a share button as a shortcut for it, but you can also do it directly in the ports area. But there's actually a problem with this app because I'm not in San Francisco So the geolocation functionality in here isn't actually going to give me reliable information until I deploy this app to Fastly and then open it from there. So let's do that. I'm going to try clicking the publish button at the bottom, click into the terminal and enter Y for yes. I need an API key. So at this point, I do need a Fastly account in order to proceed. So sign up for one if you don't already have one. And then once you're logged in, you can get your API key. So we go over to account, API tokens, personal tokens, and we want to create a new one. And at this point, you'll have to re-authenticate. So go ahead and do that. Give your token any name you like, and then choose automation, engineer, global access, all services. And I'm just going to make mine never expire and go ahead and create it. Then you want to copy your token from the pop-up and go back into your codespace. And if you click into the text field at the top of the editor and type the greater than arrow followed by secret, then pick manage user secrets. We want to add a new secret. Enter the name in all caps, fastly_API_token, and paste in the value that we copied from the Fastly account. And at this point, the codespace should give you a notification prompting you to reload it. So go ahead and do that. That's going to allow you to use the token. And it might take a minute or two again to get going. Once it's back up and running, hopefully everything's building and previewing again, we can try hitting that publish button again. I'm going to enter Y for yes. And this time I'm off and running. So at this point, a few things will happen. The codespace script will attempt to deploy the origin website to GitHub pages so that it can set that as the origin for the deployed version of the Compute app. The Fastly tooling will build the Compute app for deployment. It will go through the process of creating a new service in my Fastly account, and then it will upload the packaged version of my app to that service, and then it will activate it. And all of that might take a couple of minutes to become available. Once it's done, with any luck, you'll get the address for your GitHub page's origin site and the address for your deployed Fastly Compute app. So command click, control click, whatever you need to do to open them both in the browser so that we can check them out. And the origin site should just look the same, but the Compute app might look different depending on where you are. Mine is now correctly indicating that I'm in Glasgow and it's morning here. Let's check out those synthetic pages that we built as well. Let's try the 404. That looks fine. Let's try the JSON one. Yep, that's all working the way I want it to. So back in the codespace, if you want to understand more about how this project works, you'll find the container configuration and helper scripts that run when we click the buttons. They're all inside this project, so you can tailor them to suit your own workflows if you like. If you want to keep the changes that you made in the codespace, make sure you commit them to your fork of the GitHub repo. You can do that from the codespace over in source control. And if you pop back into your Fastly account, you'll find that this new compute service is now listed on the home page. So you can click into that to access the configuration details for it. And you can add all sorts of extra features in here. You can send your own domain to the site, for example. And we have plenty more tips in the Fastly documentation.